I'm Carrington MacDuffie. This is Star Seeds of Freedom. As we know, the best of our science, according to the best of our science, and I think also according to our intuition, everything, everything is frequency and vibration. Thank you, Nikola Tesla. So why wouldn't that extend to wellness? I think it benefits us to approach our health and well-being in various ways, especially as we edge away from much of what allopathic medicine has offered us and as we venture into other options. And it's clear to me that working with frequency is at the top of those other options. Now, my guest today has been practicing with the Bioscan machine for over 15 years, with over 1,000 clients, with uncanny accuracy. And because gaining the information that we need to make the best decisions for ourselves appears to be one of the many benefits offered by the Bioscan, I want to know more about it. So, Bill Nolan, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we want to know about Bioscan. I know a little bit about it just because you and I have done one session, but I still have so many questions, and our guests, most of them probably know nothing. So let's start at the start, and tell us, what is the Bioscan? What is it? How does it work? Which is kind of the same question, I guess.
Sure. Well, it's very space agey. So my little drink here, toast the space age and star seeds. And I thought I'd start it off with I'm a Star Trek aficionado and Captain Kirk lover for the young people. He started it all, and thought I'd start our little communique with a little Bill at the Carrington. Bill at the Carrington. Over. Okay, that's why
Go
I
ahead,
took it.
Bill. Over.
Yeah, you got to have fun. It's a really serious subject, but try to have fun and temper it all.
Yeah, it's all funny.
But yeah, that's a really serious subject. This work is. So, what is Bioscan? What is this computer?
Yeah.
Technically, it's a scalar device. It's not a random event generator, but some people kind of label it that. But it's much more complicated and sophisticated than that. It is an FDA Class 2 device. I've tweaked it to my usage. Be, over here is our Help Is on the Way TV series project, movie project, and once we would get going with that, I'm going to introduce this to the world in a much more intricate and descriptive manner. But until then, I just kind of generally discuss what it can do for people and things.
Yeah.
But so everyone has an electromagnetic fingerprint, so to speak. It was discovered a while ago that with a sophisticated computer like this, and as you said, I've been doing this 15 years. It's not new, but it certainly seems it. And it's evolved over these last 15 years somewhat, but there's a lot of really cool things out there that people don't even know about, or the powers to be try to suppress. It's getting a little better in that regard, so I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
But everyone has an electric fingerprint. There was a great book by Gary Obecker called The Body Electric.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
over too. We'll discuss that later a little bit. But I'm trying to condense all this the best I can, but yet be technically accurate. So because we're electrical beings, and that aspect has been ignored until recently by medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. And this helps to add to that and add to the whole picture of holistic wellness. So with that, your electric fingerprint is your name that you were born with, where you were born, and your birthday. It's not astrology, but we found those three instruments, so to speak, put into an electrical computer, electrically finds you, sort of like radar, and locks onto you, and then we scan you through that dynamic, that mechanism. It's awesome.
It's so
And
cool. Yeah.
there's no doubt you've experienced this, the accuracy of it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of experts and even woo-woo experts who think this isn't legit, and that's fine. Because a lot of things out there aren't.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned in our conversation earlier, everyone likes to use the word quantum now.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Very
they
good.
or it's just hype or marketing or scams, embarrassingly to say for them. And our purpose, we're utilizing the term quantum correctly for our usage in that this scan goes under the very smallest amount of energy that we humans to date know how to measure. And we're doing that so we can find things that are brewing, so to speak, in someone, troubling, stressing items and factors. And it's a complement to current instruments that don't go beyond that. Doesn't replace it. It's a good complement. So we'll find things that conventional equipment doesn't see happening yet until it's really full blown. And so the real beauty in this is, I'm going a little bit ahead, but is the prevention factor, which very few people in our culture, because of insurance, just our culture, aren't into. Generally, people wait till something's wrong with them.
Yeah, or the version of prevention they're using isn't really effective. It's misguided.
Yeah. So I hope that makes some sense.
Well, let me ask you, let's clarify something else because you clarified what quantum means, the term that people throw around like crazy now. It's everything. And in
Yeah.
Latin, I think it just means, yeah, it's this, it's amount. It just means, anyway,
No, I'm glad we're clear. Thank you for we're clearing up. So I want to say, and I'll say a little bit later too, and I feel you're the same way. I'm all about operating in integrity as a
yeah.
person and in my service to people, animals, the planet. So, and I'm from New York. I think you're from New York, and we talk like it is, man. That's going to be the way it is. So, and it's not meant to be rude. It's meant to be honest with each other. So, just want to let the folks know that that's where I'm coming from all the time. So,
There you go. Okay, well, and that informs your work. So, I wonder if you could also define scalar, because that's another term we're hearing a lot, what scalar laser is. That right and left, I'm hearing that one as well, and I know a little bit about it, but I want to hear about it from your point of view as a technician.
okay. And you know what? I can hardly explain it, to be honest. It's not really over my head, but I guess it kind of is in that to articulate it, not being a literal physician or physicist, but it's not quite the same thing as hertz. It's what they call 0 point energy. It's
Yep.
really mysterious. It's real. And that's all I can really, and I'm honest, I don't know how to really explain. I know how to utilize that technology and dynamic in the computer I work with. But as
Hmm.
far as Einsteinly trying to, let's use Tesla
Yeah,
way,
let's not use
explain
Einstein.
it. Yeah, it's a little over my head. If you Google it, it kind of, you gotta Google it several times sometimes to even
Yeah.
come close to. It's a very great question, and I'm not going to pretend that I can articulate it very well, but it's a little bit different than well, it's different. It's still electromagnetic waveforms
Yeah.
in a way, but it's
Yeah.
not your typical ones. And if, I'd say look up 0 point energy. You know, it's not the same thing. A lot of times, if someone says define arthritis and you look it up, it says arthritis. It's like, what does arthritis mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Google is not all that helpful. You have to dig a little deeper generally, but yeah.
No, that's
Uh,
a great question. I just don't want to butcher it.
Scalar waves are nonlinear, non-Hertzian waves that have the ability to carry information. They travel faster than the speed of light and do not decay over time. Scalar energy is generated when two electromagnetic waves from two opposite paths eventually converge. When these energy vectors meet, the equal frequencies cancel each other out, leaving a static or stationary form of energy and zero frequency.
okay, well, but we know that you're using that with the
Right.
Bioscan. So we
Among
have
other
our,
things, among other things, it's part. So the reason I utilize this device, I'm always on the hunt, part of the project for better technology out there for people. I'm a
hmm
little married to it because I've been using it for so long, but it's a multimedia device. It's using, you could say it's like 10 different devices into one.
hmm,
And that's why I love it so much. I mean, and we'll talk about it a little later, but it's utilizing all electrical patterns and frequencies, and we'll talk about what frequencies are, but it's got a blood scan, it's got an organ scan, a brainwave scan, a bone scan, all the things that compromise your physicality. Then it goes into emotions, psychological aspects, spiritual aspects. It's incredible. And that's your chakras. That is why I love it so much, because we're coming at a person or a pet from so many different angles and aspects for the totality of well-being.
And this is why it's so accurate, I want to say,
Yes.
right? Because there's
Right,
so
because
many different
you're
things
it's
being
like,
considered.
no, that's a great point. Very insightful, because we're getting so many different, we're looking for patterns.
Hmm.
So if you suspect, here's a great one. A lot of times people's thyroid is definitely off, but conventional tests don't reveal that. And we say it's definitely off. The symptoms are all there. Other hormonal tests conventionally are pretty good. So in this case, if I see that someone's thyroid's distressed, the term the FDA wants me to use, so I will. There's a frequency for the thyroid, and that'll be resonating oddly, number one. Number two, kind of to your point, meridians will be off for the hormonal, triple warmer or thyroid. Other depression also comes with that. There's so many different factors that confirm that part of the puzzle, or that question of, is the thyroid off? So that's true too. The other thing is, this is really pretty fascinating, I think. This is like a hypnotherapy session in a sense. We like it better, and no offense to hypnotherapists, but because it's no bias at all. No matter how well-intentioned and qualified a hypnotherapist is, and there's some good ones, some great ones. They're human beings, and so there's a little or a lot of bias there. They can't help it. It's better than nothing if they're good. But this eliminates that. The energies this picks up are never made up or false. They can be someone else's energies. They can be in your head, which that's wild. But it
Yeah.
doesn't boo-boo on what it's seeing or revealing. So it's my job to determine how literal or linear it is.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little complicated. I like to joke that, well, a monkey can utilize this device. And I like monkeys. But then again, there's people, especially practitioners who are in the conventional world, who, of course, are always literal and linear in their thinking, that this confuses them. They can't adapt to it.
So, just as you said, that it's going to pick up a thought in your mind or an attitude about,
Mhm.
could it pick up, let's say your thyroid's fine, but in your mind you think, oh man, my thyroid must be messed up because I'm overweight or something. Would it
Totally.
is that the type of thing you're talking, the layers
Yes.
there?
Yes. Or,
Hmm.
excellent. Or um, someone close to you, and you're an empathic you have empathic feelings towards that person.
Right.
It could be them. That happens a lot. Real quick, I had a lady
Huh.
who, this is actually kind of funny. I hope it's fun. She, Viagra kept coming up on her panel, the drug. I'm like, what? Even I'm like, yeah. And I wait till I see something several times before I determine it's kind of legit as far as pertaining to her, and then into linear.
Yeah, when
So,
it seems so unlikely.
yeah,
Yeah,
could be a little bit
Viagra.
of
Yeah.
blah-blah, who knows? She saw, but so I might get a kick out of this. It's important though. So what we found out to be the truth of that was, she enjoyed, oh, I didn't enjoy it, but wanted to spend time with her husband on Sundays, who watched football all day. So she did that. She didn't really like it, but she compromised. And all the commercials during that time period on the football games were playing. And her husband was like, should I try that? So it was really in her mind a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took us a little while to reveal that. So it wasn't inaccurate. Could also come up as someone who may need nitric oxide, which is that promotes that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
again, I don't want to confuse people or go too woo-woo on it, but to answer your question, and that doesn't, those quote unquote confusing items don't come up a lot, thank God,
Hmm.
but they can, and it's all part of the big picture, big puzzle.
So something like that can make it seem as if it's inaccurate if it's so
Yeah.
off base as that. But
Yeah.
that's where I would think your part as more than a monkey comes in, where you have to interpret and know what questions to ask to determine where that
Absolutely.
information's coming from, right?
Very good. Thank you. We're a detective. On my end, I'm a detective. It's all about asking the right questions because the computer, it isn't all worldly, of course, and it's not going to spit out everything that exists. I got to ask the questions.
Right.
So that's great.
Okay, so now when you do a scan, does the person have to be present, or you just have to take the information, do the scan as you do it, when you do it, right? Doesn't matter where the person is or the
No, it
timing.
doesn't. That's the wild thing about it. When it's doing the scan, it's locking into what technically they could call the Star Trek analogy in subspace. More common vernacular would be long distance or remote.
Yeah.
And again, there's folks out there who try to debunk that. I used to care. I couldn't care less anymore. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
It works. It works.
Yeah,
And
and it's working in other areas as well. So people
yes,
just got to,
I'll give a free plug. There's a thing called Fluffy, FLVE. That seems to be legitimate. There's a lot of stuff. Well,
yeah. Well, and
there's
so
not a
people need
lot,
to just
but
get
there's
used.
things.
Yeah, there are things, and I think people just need to get used to the fact that it's not what you think it is. The way things are, um, the way things are interconnected, because we're in this time and space bubble, but actually we're not constrained by time and space the way that we think we are, right?
Right.
And also, everything has its own vibration, right? I mean, this pen has its own vibration, right? And I have a vibration. So one thing I'd like to ask you is, I have my I as a whole have my vibration, but also each organ has its own. My blood has a vibration, right? That's how the machine is working. It's reading these different vibrations. So, but we're more than the sum of our parts. So I mean, I have a single vibration that's me also, aside from my separate parts, right?
Yeah. Yes. But I think so it doesn't pick up you singularly as a vibration.
Okay.
Maybe something out there does, but it's looking at so many different factors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really. But Carrington is one single vibration. This isn't doing that.
Right. I see. And one of the things that fascinated me about the reading, I call it a reading, and I don't mean like a palm reading, but it's a readout. Okay, let me call it a readout. That's better. Um,
Scan.
Scan is that it picks up information about what's encoded, I guess, in your DNA.
Yes. Wild. And the reason we want to do that is especially helpful for young people or babies or your puppy. It's very predictably accurate for tendencies. So anything that could be stressful, we can know ahead of time that that's a good likelihood of occurring or being a problem. So we can do something about it.
Yeah.
It's very. I have a friend who is she's pretty funny too and smart. She calls it the non-physical stuff that it looks at. She goes, "Oh, it likes to peek into my underwear drawer." I know.
But
And
it is
yeah,
very, it is private information. I
it is.
mean,
And again, it's not intrusive on purpose or
no,
just
it's not intrusive,
it's
but
the
it comes
not
up with,
everybody's ready for it though.
right. Yes. Okay.
Big
So
time.
for sure. I mean, I was startled by it because you were kind enough to do a scan on me, and we're going to talk more about that aspect of it, of doing the scanning. But it's it tells you a lot of where the problems are.
Right.
So you have to be ready for a sort of a constructive criticism, and a lot of people aren't up for that.
Absolutely. And
And have
so
you? Yeah.
no, so okay, I'm available for it if they want it. Another thing too
But I
is,
mean, the information itself is a constructive criticism, not even your interpretation of it, but just seeing, oh, in my DNA, I might be um, apt to get a certain disease or whatever, you know?
yeah, or you have a certain personality trait that could
Hmm.
get you in trouble later, perhaps.
Hmm.
Um, but it's back to, you're somebody that wants to be the best version of yourself you can be.
Yeah,
You
that's
take
what it's for.
responsibility for yourself,
Yeah,
things like that, factors like that.
yeah,
Yeah, not everybody's into that, and that's
right.
fine.
It is
So
for people who want to optimize.
self-help. This is a great tool for self-help and some
Yes.
totally. It's not
So,
my control, darn it. But it's just a very unique way of gleaning information that basically comes from resonance and self, your own subconscious or your higher self, however you might want to put it. It's really wild in a way. I'm used to it, but
so would it be, um, I wonder how temporal it is in the sense of if I had a scan today and then I had a scan a week from now, is there an area of the, and we're going to talk about, I'd like for you to talk about the different areas that it scans and how it, uh, you know, um, organizes that information, but might I get a different scan or within a
totally,
week, is it likely to be the same?
totally. So thank goodness it's not overly wild and random, or how useful would that perhaps be? But it'll change because it's, again, in the quantum world, subtle things make a big difference and they rarely repeat themselves. So let's go
Right.
back to health and wellness. It can actually sometimes miss an obvious thing that happens to someone. You fall down and break your arm, and then 5 hours later, I'm scanning you. I'm not picking it up till next week.
Hmm.
And I'm honest about this. It's cool,
Yeah.
and it's okay because as long as you tell me, then we can go about going to help with that.
Right.
It's the immediate things your subconscious is focused on, and they're surprisingly odd at times. So we're very weird creatures, I think, in that our subconscious controls us and we're not aware of it.
Yes.
So this tool helps us be more aware, and hopefully, because then we're aware, knowledge is, we think, everything. It's got to start with knowledge, whatever it is. You can then take control and action for yourself better and implement the information in the service. So that's the real beauty of it, and that's the dynamic and sense of what's going on.
And so, as the subject, it is dependent also on my input. What I say, well, I'd like help with this, or I'm having problem with that, right? It's not just like if,
Yeah, ideally,
okay,
sure, sure. Yeah, I
okay,
want I want folks to let me know what their goal is, what they want help with.
right,
Along the way, we might find things that they're not aware of or they don't want to share, and that's cool too. Um, I
yeah,
find something somebody doesn't want to share or talk about or delve into. I let it go, man. I'm just there to help.
yeah, of
So,
course, yeah, you have
but
to
that's
be
a great question. So that's how that kind of goes.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, that you have to be respectful of that. But so let me then, do you often do a series of scans with a person as
So
opposed to just one? And how
yeah,
do you, and do you treat also as well as getting the information?
yes, all that. So again, it depends on what someone wants. Some things. So we're entraining the person or the animal. This works best on animals, then children, then people who say they want help. Sometimes people say they want help, and this is annoying, and they don't. The
Hmm.
biggest obstacle is unconscious resistance to cure.
Right.
And you don't know as far as this work goes, until we look. And then not everybody is open to that.
Yeah.
What do you mean I don't care? That's what I'm calling you. So a
Right.
lot of people, and I hope I'm not all over the map, but I have so much I want to share with you, and I appreciate it. A lot of people, and I was told this way back when I was first introduced to this and taught, and I kind of didn't believe it then, but now I know it's true, which is a lot of people will come to me or other folks and all kinds of work like this, and say they want to get better, and they're there and they're paying you, but they really don't. They just want to know about it, which that's cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't take the actions they needed to take if they were sincere about getting better. They just want to know about it. And again, that's their business. That's fine. But to be fair to me and the work, forget me and the work, be honest, because this will definitely help you if you're just willing to put some effort into it. You don't have to put always a whole lot. Because again, some of these smaller things make big differences. I'll give you a fast example. Gail had horrible allergies, terrible, and she'd gone the conventional route, and it helped her first. Then it's like a rebound effect. It was getting worse. It's like people use the sinus sprays. Sometimes it works at first, and then if you use it too much, it gets worse. That's a known phenomenon. So anyway, scanned a couple of times. What kept coming up, the main antagonist was feathers and pillow feathers. I asked her, do you sleep with pillows that have feathers? Oh, yeah. I go, well, you might want to stop doing that. And she got really angry. She goes, I'm not throwing them out. I love them. I go, I didn't say throw them out. I said, if you can't live without them, maybe just put them over somewhere else, or at the very least cover them with some kind of pillowcase that'll shield you. She wouldn't do it. So when she would come, I'd take the fire out, so to speak. I'd get that inflammation down, but it kept coming back.
Oh, I see.
We're trying to desensitize her too, but that takes, so all this work, they told us, can take 10 to 21 sessions because we're training you. We're working the neurotransmitters. And the older the problem has been, the older you may be, a little more stubborn, the longer it can take. I've always aimed for a miracle change, and they've happened, but they don't happen a lot. I guess that's why they call them miracles. But I always try every time. But she wouldn't give it enough time. Again, her prerogative. Don't tell us this may not work. It's you weren't truly committed to stopping it. The pillow meant more to her than that's all. What can you do?
Okay,
Well, it's funny.
it is kind of, well, in the scan that you did for me, sugar came up as something to keep at bay, and I like dark chocolate, so that means sugar. I mean, low amount of sugar compared
That's pretty low in that, generally.
yeah, compared to some things that you eat, but there is sugar in it. And so I had to really ponder that, because that would be like if you told, I don't drink coffee, but I know people who do drink coffee. If you told them that they had to give it up, or not that they had to, but it was recommended through the scan that could be creating problems for them.
And it
That's
can.
like, yeah, so that would be something like this woman with the feathers where well, she must really like those pillows.
It's funny.
Yeah, I think sugar would be a lot harder to
That
give
is.
up.
But as you know, I'm sure it's very addictive.
Yes.
I
It's
mean,
the most, they say, more
I think
than
it's the most.
cigarettes, more than heroin, they say. That's a
Thanks.
lot.
It is. It's funny. It is funny, but it's kind of not. So I know. No, the coffee is a great example. I mean, it's a ritual for a lot of folks, of course,
Hmm.
besides liking it.
Hmm.
So no, that is a very great point. So say that happened. You know, I'd suggest if it was appropriate, just slow down on it.
Yeah.
You know, see.
And you can also ask questions or ask for information on something about your life that's not related to your physiology, right?
Absolutely. Your current life goals.
Uh-huh.
The biggest one, even for men who initially laugh, back to laughing, that they don't care about their love life, they'll eventually come back, get to it and say, hey, Bill, you know, almost under their breath, you know that love life thing? Can you find some links and some stuff to help me with that?
Hmm.
Relationship life, well, like relationship life or physical life. But yeah, that's the big one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did hadn't even occurred to me, but yes, of course. I mean, look at all these matchmaking services or apps.
Well, you know, I met my wife on Match.com. I could tell the story. It sounds like I'm making it up, but they paid me. I would have never met her without that vehicle.
Hmm.
You know, years ago, I first heard of that. I thought, well, that's like for losers and dorks and stuff. You know, you can't go out and meet somebody. But physically, you know, I mean, a pretty big city. I would never met her. And you know what? We grew up a few miles apart.
Oh,
but I'm
wow.
older, so I didn't know her then.
Right.
Yeah, but it's a cute story if I do say. And so yeah. Um, and you know what comes up a lot for women while they haven't quote unquote found their mate, quote unquote. I think it's I hope this is interesting. They don't want to, but
Oh,
society makes them feel they should.
oh, huh.
I know that it's peer pressure.
That's
Sometimes,
interesting. Huh.
yeah, you know,
And
and
how do
that,
you determine that? How are you able to tell that
it's
that's,
really secret.
but I mean, did they say actually this is my block, or does the
No, they don't say.
scan
Well,
show it, or?
it does through a series of detective work
Oh, oh,
questions.
oh, that's just
You know
fascinating.
what I use a lot of the flower essences and their meaning. Those help me often find non-physical motivations or reasons for blocks. Of course, that's up until the interpretation of what the flower essence is for. But that's one of my main ways to find links and helps to what's blocking someone for their particular goal. There's many other ways, but that's a really
Mm,
good one. And
mm,
so I'm a big fan of those. And I had never heard of them until I did this work.
mm-hmm,
And so interestingly, I think is I've utilized flower essences from the store and personally didn't get any effects from them, but the
mm-hmm.
electrical charge of them has been very effective for myself.
Yes,
Many
I know.
others.
Yes, I know someone else who works with the electrical charge of flower essences, and it's
No,
amazing that it's powerful, but
I
it's
know.
so subtle that you
I,
wouldn't
I,
think.
I can't answer why, I'm not going to pretend to, as I said,
Yeah.
but just know it does. And so for example, the adrenaline, the frequency of adrenaline is in the computer. There's like 15,000 different frequencies, as you alluded to earlier. It's fascinating. Okay.
Wow.
If someone injected me with adrenaline, I would feel that, and they would have more effect than the electrical frequency. Thank goodness, because you don't want to be overdoing folks.
Yeah.
But with crystals and flower essences and neurotransmitters, which is not easy to source, very effective.
Mm,
And I, as I say, I can't, in a physics state, tell you exactly why. I just
yeah.
know it's true. So thank goodness.
Yeah. That's completely fascinating.
I know.
So,
Thank you for all this. Yeah.
so how long? Um, Well, back to the flower essences before I ask this next question. We sense when you think of flower essence, you think of something really delicate. And of course, for you, the essence of a flower would be, for us, is what it looks like and how it smells, right? And those seem like such ethereal properties that for it to have this electrical signature that could be so strong is
let me uh, let me call the local botanist for this. No,
okay.
no. Serious question. Great question. No, there's I guess we could say there's chemicals in the flower essence that you can't see
Yeah.
that has the dynamics to make changes.
Right. Okay. That.
Molecular,
Yeah.
the molecular chemical, this molecular structure
Yeah.
that it emits can make some psychological and emotional differences.
So that yeah, that actually
I'm just
answers a
used
lot
to it.
right there. Yeah.
I know my thing with this stuff. Other things, you know, I'd have my wife help me set up this Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Well, we all have our areas of knowledge, you know.
I'm not handy, but thank goodness for those who enjoy this work. I'm really, not to brag, I'm excellent at this thing, but a lot of things I'm not good at.
Of course. Well, that's the case for all of us. So how long does it take you to do a scan, interpret it? Tell me about that
Okay.
process for you.
So the very first time for anyone, I don't know them, and I do want to know their history if possible, which helps. It cuts time on my end, but hours. And in person, that's draining that can be draining on a person. They don't have all day for me to do that. I used to do this in person. I will talk about why I switched. Perhaps it's very ironic, but interesting. But on my end, and you don't need to know this, but it is a lot of work, and I'm glad to do it. But so to answer your question, the first time can take me 2 to 3 hours. As we get going, I'm familiar with them. It's possible the computer gets adjusted to them. It's possible this is somewhat sort of a benevolent AI, possible. Less time, but it's always over an hour to do a thorough scan and a deep dive investigation for all the possibilities and avenues for the totality of being of service to the person that this service can offer. They don't need to worry about that. So if somebody wants a background theme of energy, get up and go, I'll usually do it in the morning. Because I learned if I do that at night, I can keep them awake, and vice versa. If they need to really relax and chill out, I'll generally do it at night, because just basic energies, the person, especially the animals, can feel it literally right away. But for complex issues, it can take 72, 96 hours for all those things to percolate, cook, assimilate, and do their thing. Now I don't think I answered your question thoroughly. I apologize about how long it can take for this to be effective for people. As little as 1 time, which is rare, 10 to 21 times, but I've got this down so well that I can usually cut that in half. But if they may have needed 10 times, I can do it in 5. They need 21, maybe 10. It really depends on what we're trying to help somebody with. Addicts, drug users, that can take a year.
Wow.
You can say, oh my God, that's not worth the run. Yes, it is. If it a year later they're way better and nothing else was going to do it.
Yeah.
Especially those rehab centers, they're a joke generally.
Yeah.
About saying that country club and
Yeah.
pampering them and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
This is tough love again, but to help. So anyway, it depends on what we're searching for, but most people can get some really great results in 5 sessions, maybe 10. If it's not a serious long-term thing. And like all good practitioners, I give them a great discount on more they do, because I know it's tough out there.
Yeah.
Back to their culture, with the insurance, and thank God for insurance, but with our culture and not caring about preventative, people are very resentful to pay for things that insurance don't offer. And I get that. So I'm mindful of that. On the other hand, I've learned, I'm off on tangent again, but I want to get this in. Someone like you will understand this. I did a lot of free things for people when I first was learning, experimenting, and I still do in some cases. But honest to God, I've learned that if it's free, they don't value it, and it doesn't work as well. I've even thought,
that's really interesting. It
doesn't
work.
work as well.
It doesn't work as well.
Yeah, and I've thought, so back to your original question of how does this work, the interactions of this, it's an interface between myself, who I'm scanning and working with, and the computer. It's a 3-way interface. And in quantum physics, that movie, What the Bleep We Know, introduced this 20 years ago now, very well, that the observer effect is super important. And that goes back to that funny question about if you're in the forest and a tree falls, if you're there, if you're not there, does it make a sound, as opposed to if you're there? I always said, yeah, it would still make a sound, because even if I'm not there to hear it, the dynamics of the woods and all those other things, they're living entities, they would quote unquote hear it. But in that example, we're told no, because you're not there to hear it.
Yeah.
So the point of that analogy is, I even asked myself with the free thing, am I resentful of somebody not valuing my work and time and effort and heartfelt energy to help them? And so is that why it doesn't even work as well? And I don't think so. I'm pretty honest with myself. I'm pretty hard on myself. So I don't think so. But I've heard that. I'm not the only person in the world who does this. I'm the only person that I know that does the way I do it. And one of our goals with our project here is to get this out in the world more, teach it right. And, if this got out there more, it was more accepted, and the baddies didn't try to damper it down.
Yeah.
Come out with greater technology than this, of course.
Yeah.
Right. I'm happy to spearhead that or help any way I can to further development, because it's fantastic. But so, no, I don't think that it was on my end. I don't want to dwell on that, but, and then I also tried to help, and I have, not everyone, other practitioners and other types of work. And I found a common theme in many of them, particularly women. And I felt a great empathy for this was they told them what I call obscurity and poverty. And a lot of them were afraid to ask people to pay them. And they have a poverty consciousness. Some of that's their own fault. And they feel guilty about it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, what you do is so worthy, if you're a good one and tried and proven. And sometimes people save lives. Like the huge difference is you deserve some kind of value in exchange. And the world we're in, it's usually money. So don't feel bad. Be proud of what you do your very best, put all you have into it. And the universe should reward you justly, appropriately. And I stick to that 100%. Help Us on the Way is not going to be a nonprofit. We're proudly for profit. We deserve it. We're not greedy. We work.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It's a market economy. I mean,
yeah, I'm just passionate about this aspect. So thanks for letting me get on my soapbox. But,
sure.
One of the reasons I was really attracted to your podcast, you just tell it like it is in a very polite, succinct manner. And I love it. I feel the same way, I'm a little more obtuse about it. I'm not as articulate as you. But, let's get it on, man. Let's do it right.
Yeah, for sure. So tell me, I have one small question about the computer itself, and then I wanted to find out more about Help Is on the Way. But is it a standalone unit computer, or is it a program that you can run on a different any computer? Well, maybe not any, but
it's not a standalone.
I see. Okay.
The computer you insert it in has to be powerful.
Okay, that's
what what it's doing. Yeah.
So, Help Is on the Way. We could either talk about that, or I think you said you had some
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we have a slideshow.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the first thing I already talked about it, but I wanted to stress that I'm always operating, and I'm checking myself all the time that I'm in integrity. The work I do is integrity, and I'm all about that. I just wanted people to know. So here's some quick success stories. I almost forget about them sometimes, so thank you for letting me show this.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this too a little bit, real quick. I touched upon it a little earlier. I've been doing this for 15 years. Where it came into a full-time job was during COVID. So that's why I said it's a little ironic. I had a pretty decent client base, and they told a lot of people about this, and those people who maybe wouldn't have cared about it did because they couldn't leave the house. They were scared, et cetera, et cetera. So I was inundated with this then, and it kept a lot of folks since then. So ironically, but at least we were here to help. And for those who care, I want to present the legitimacy of this. Those who don't, that's cool. I'm busy enough, and you'll catch up later, perhaps. Anyway, this is one of my most fun, back to fun, but really touching and great examples of what happened. So a client of mine, her dad had dementia pretty bad, among other things. So what we have here is two screenshots of a before and after experience of going to the doctor. About this man could not drive his own car, and he was really having a hard time coping with life. So he had an EEG, alpha, beta, theta, delta brainwave scan. It showed a lot of imbalance and distress, and it's hard to see this probably, but it showed dementia and chronic, and some other factors there. But okay, so a month later, he was scheduled to come back for a follow-up. So he was supposed to have his wife bring him because he couldn't drive. What happened was the wife wasn't feeling well, fell asleep. He proceeded to take the car keys and drive himself to the doctors, which in itself was risky, should have done it, but did it, and fine. He walks in by himself to the doctors and nurses, and they asked, "Oh, where's your wife?" She's home, and they were very alarmed, of course. So interestingly, they redid his brain scan, among many other things. And they noticed he was a lot different, much operating and functionally much better. Brain scans were normal. The doctor, the report I got was actually, this is wild, upset over that. Not glad, upset, a little angry. The staff
Of
was
course.
excited and wanted to know what in the world was going on.
Yeah.
The daughter talked to the nurses, told them about this, and they were kind enough to send over this information. And I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
So this man couldn't drive, brain waves are all scrambled, couldn't really function. Showed the second showed no observable dementia. Wow. So
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty.
that's proof right there.
That's amazing.
And I
Yeah.
want proof. As we said earlier, a lot of scammers, a lot of fraud.
Yeah.
Here's another one. This is a very heart-touching story too. Calling her, that's a picture of her, tiny dancer. I want to keep her privacy, but so she was. Her mom's a teacher of dancing and was very good herself, and turns out to be a great teacher. Several of her daughters are under her tutelage and compete. This girl in particular was very good, but then wasn't doing well health-wise. Mom's intuitive and said, thought in my dear heart, it's in their family history. Went to the general practitioner. They said the young girl was fine. And then my scans, I wait, like I said earlier, several scans to declare something might be stressed out on somebody. No reason to unnecessarily alarm people or do harm. So, in fact, I did see stress imbalances enough to say maybe go get a second opinion. And before that happened, she had an event. The daughter did not, almost passed out, real white, not well. The ambulance came, took her to the hospital. It revealed that she had a symptom. It's worse than tachycardia. And her heart rate was off the charts. And it was very scary. Normally you do what's called a heart nerve operation. And they're generally successful. Sometimes you got to do several. The mom was scared to do that. Bottom line, I worked, I don't want to exaggerate, but 5 or 6 times on the daughter. And they were told, meanwhile, she's had to stop dancing, kind of force, too much stress. She took a little break. And then I worked on her, as I say, 5 or 6 times. To this day, she now is a champion. She just took a little time off. I'm not saying I did a lot, but something happened there.
Yeah.
This has been several years now, and she's good. So, awesome.
Yeah.
So this is my last little example. And Stephanie, she similar thing, not same thing, but heart related. Didn't feel well. Has a history of lineage of heart stress. Went to the general practitioner, did conventional testing, said she's okay. Again, I saw several scans on her that kind of countered that. I suggested she go back to the same doctor she liked and ask some more. So they sent her to a cardiologist expert. In fact, I think it was 3 days. If it wasn't the next day, open heart surgery, stents, put in. So that shows that this will find things on a deeper level, not to put the conventional measuring down. They don't have the ability to do what this can do.
Yeah.
So basically, because she took this information seriously, she saved her own life with our help. So, and these are all real people, real things. And there's a million examples. Another one, real fast one. This is a non-physical one. A great guy. His name's Bill too. He was seeing me for a while. He just loved it. Okay, great. So he asked me if I could help his son, who had been dishonorably discharged from the military and was staying with him because he had nowhere else to go. I said, I will try. So real quick, his son was very unfocused and kind of belligerent, argumentative. The dad didn't really want him there, but wasn't ready to kick him out on the street, but was pretty stressed out. Bottom line, what happened? One session. The son came into the dad's office, sat himself down in front of him, and looked him in the eye, which he'd said he really wouldn't do, and started crying and said, "Dad, I'm sorry. I've been that butthole. I love you. Can we work this out?" So, and they did. So, getting choked up. But I love that one, man. Oh, priceless, priceless. That's what it was. So, and Bill was this big strapping dude. And I turned around because I'm not facing them when I used to do it in person. This was in person. Crying. So I'm crying, these big dudes, And we'll move along. But one of my favorite, or one of my most popular methods, offerings is the pineal gland. And with your starseed theme, I thought a lot of people might get a kick out of this. And so I do have a program to activate and stimulate the people's pineal gland. Most of your viewers know what it is, but
Yeah, that's cool. Yep.
so I'm a legitimate dude. I have a 4-year degree from New York Institute of Technology. I'm a licensed spiritual coach, certified biofeedback practitioner. I know my stuff.
Yeah.
It's my contact info. Another thing we want to show people is that there's positive and negative entities that exist. It's not made up. It's not fantasy. Of course, some people can bogus about that, but in real science, those things this is pretty important. They're real. This picks it up. So this is an example of a negative entity attached to a person. It almost looks like a dead body clinging to that person. And it could be. Often this will show up when it's inside the person or the person's quote unquote fault. They're around. So often in this scan, with this aura pictures, it's energies around the person, which is trying to get in and affect them. And often people who are in medical or you're around a lot of large groups of people, those things pop up a lot.
This is interesting. Yeah, that it looks like, I mean, I can just see his feet and head,
Yeah, looks
and
like
it's covering a lot of the body, almost like,
uh,
and it almost looks like mold or
dragging
something.
them
Wow.
down. Yeah, mold
hmm
or dark,
Do you
nasty.
have an example of a good looking scan? Oh, here we
Boom.
go.
Folks, we
Okay.
didn't rehearse
All
that.
right. I know the white light.
So yeah,
Uh-huh.
but there's all kinds of scans out there. And they're cool.
Mm-hmm.
This one, what we don't want is stuff swirling around, no matter what color, the figure of the person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like that black thing was. We don't want any what I call swirlies. This
Yeah.
is an example of somebody who they don't have any swirlies. All its colors mean something. That's no story. But what I like though is that white light.
Ah,
The angel. I know it's positive.
yeah.
So I have actually had requests to work on people who are going to pass away that day.
Yeah.
And I either try to, after I'm done with the scan, I have that show up. I can't make it. So that's kind of cool in a way because it's real if it shows up. I'm hoping it's there for other reasons that everyone's trying to impart on that person that's going to depart. And when I see that, and that person or animal is going to leave or something similar to this, it's just nice. So that's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this one, just to give some examples to folks, and the reason with I'm showing these auras is there's not a lot of photos with this work.
Yeah, sure.
So people, of course, want to see images and things. So
Yeah.
no swirlies and that kind of turquoise, like the strip actually. That can indicate some healing or prosperity resonance.
Pretty.
And prosperity, what is that? It could be money. It could also be prosperity is different for everyone. It could be that their family, their life is great, their job's great, just a prosperous energy of life. So, and there's programs for that I run for people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of your viewers and fans here know about this, but this is from a conventional article that normies have seen. And so I wanted to put it in there about they've shown factually that Alzheimer's can be linked to the infamous calcification from fluoride from the toothpaste, the pineal gland.
Yeah.
So, and then the gland's really small to begin with. not working well because we think and feel, and there's some research that evidence that pineal gland, besides stimulating melatonin, might be a God spark source, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
It's our antenna.
yeah, well put. So, you're like a wordsmith with your music and stuff, but words matter, especially with the electromagnetic frequencies.
Yeah.
They're super powerful, and precision of words is huge.
Yeah.
And so in science, what we'll call the utilization of words is holiolinguistics. This computer utilizes that. There's an orgone device in it, utilizing sacred geometry, also crystals. You're an electric being, as we talked about. There's that interface we talked about. It matches what you need. That's my website. And I also kind of define this as electric prayers.
Nice.
And because that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm sending out the electrical prayers all the time. So we talked about this too, the human condition. And there was a movie, it was a great movie, Sherlock Holmes, the second one. The bad guy he talked about how as the manipulator of society, he learned Moriarty.
Moriarty, yeah.
Holmes and Moriarty are in a clash. Before they got into a physical one, it was verbal, and Moriarty was realizing that Holmes outsmarted him, took all his money away, and started about to put him out. And then Moriarty came back and said, "Yeah, you wonder why you've gone to the authorities and no one's done anything about it, or me, and the populace continues on the way I want them to." He goes, "Here's why." He's right. It was a cool thing in the movie I saw. Hidden within subconscious lies an insatiable desire for conflict. I've noticed that with myself. I've worked on myself, say, for a couple hours, and really cleared myself from stress and conflict, and the brainwaves are great, and everything's good, and I feel great. An hour later, I'm having these mental arguments with myself, Carrington,
Sure.
for no reason.
I know we are. There's a lot of programming operating there too.
So
Yeah.
we're by our subconscious. The computer and I, as I said, are tapping into that.
Cool.
So the computer works with quantum physics in the information field. Some people don't think homeopathics legitimate. I'm not going to say either way, but it's similar to that, much more profound in a way, more in depth. But if people understand homeopathics, not many do, but they do, that's similar. It's about information. The cells receive and transmit and reciprocate with each other information.
Yes.
And we talked about the quantum physics, smallest amount of measurable energy that we know about. There's matter, atoms, subatoms, harmonics, utilizing fractal mathematics. Okay, so a lot of these PEMF handheld devices and other things that are legitimate, and they are. But what's going on? This is to make it simple for folks and the truth. Again, we're addressing the electrical aspect of the human living organism, the mammals. Okay. Prior to recently, our healthcare system didn't address that. So often there's some seemingly miraculous transformations, and they are, but part of it is because nobody ever addressed that part of the living creature. So we are. And so the main thing a lot of these devices do, they're working with amps, volts, resistance, coherence. When you're sick, ill, not functioning well, your voltage is low.
Yeah.
These electrical devices bring it back up. Often it's temporary, but so is everything, I mean, that's the water, that's the water again.
And it might get you over the hump,
Absolutely.
to a better.
We're hoping over time, those neurotransmitters start to see that pattern and make a difference. In all fairness, some benevolent drugs can do that over time. They make a change. So we just are never being told these things are going on, the dynamics. So the frequencies, that's a big word too all the time. What are those things? The rate at which a vibration occurs that makes a wave in an electrical field, and there's different waveforms, this computer utilizes them, and they're depending on what we want to have happen. There's square, there's sine or sinus, saw, Fibonacci, a fascinating waveform.
Mm-hmm.
I put scalar in here, it's different. Scalar and triangle are, I can tell you, are similar. There's tickle, but people can do their homework, and if they want, and look these up. And I'm providing this so you can see that there's some legitimacy that's available and technically what's going on. You don't need to know this, but if you're curious,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember David Hawkins. He's passed away. We wanted to put him in the Help Is on the Way project, but unfortunately he's passed away. And I think there's a lot of legitimacy to this work he's done. It's certainly worth looking at. He came together with this idea of levels of consciousness and a scale on it. And I just want to quickly let folks know about this. It might pique their interest and help them out. Interestingly, his highest scale wasn't, I would have thought it was love. To him, it was peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's another subject, but interesting. So you can see here, and people can take a screenshot or look up his work, David Hawkins, all these levels. He used dowsing. I'm not a big fan of dowsing. Most people cannot, they influence it. Again, they're human. But he seemed to be really good at it. Again, still really good food for thought. These are fascinating things when the chart shows where you're at and what will probably be going on with you. So I thought people would want to know because, again, we're trying to raise the consciousness, the awareness of people. Consciousness is another word that people are like banning about. They tell us the real word of it. It's kind of hard to define. A little coaching here. There's many reasons people come up short. But they will not. And one of the reasons is they don't. That's where coaching comes in. I'm not a coach, but I do kind of coach people if they desire it. And I'm really humble about it. I don't have all the answers, but I'm being a friend with the information I get to try to help them out. And the big thing a lot of coaches will do, they'll call it tough love. That's cool, but it's making people accountable. And other people don't know how to do it, and because they weren't taught. So this is just a real fast way. There's many ways you can make yourself accountable. And they also tell you if you're serious about what you want to do. And again, I don't care, but if you're serious, here's help to make sure you're serious and to help you. Tell the world what you want to do. Put your money where your mouth is. Make a bet with yourself. Impart and do sincerely, not fake, acts of kindness, especially small ones. They set the stage in the dynamic, what they call a centrifuge for the world. Angels love this. We think God and the universe love this. And it seems to often, we get reports, works. It's got to be sincere, though. You can't fake it. So thank you for letting me show that.
Okay, you bet. I wanted to find out if there was something that, actually, I had a particular question about treatment. Have you attempted to scan and treat anyone who was seeking a solution for the problem of the bioweapon, the vax?
Yep.
And how has that gone? Have you had any results with that?
Yeah, it can show up. Bioweapons, there's all kinds. I can say this. The chemtrails are for sure real. I know you know.
Yep.
But how do I know that? I see them on the screen. We wouldn't make them up. Aluminum, barium, all kinds of weird stuff. I never heard of monkeypox. I've seen that. I mean, now some people may have heard of that. All kinds of wild stuff. The dengue fever. I'm like, what? This has been
dengue fever? Dengue fever?
Yeah. I didn't know what that was. Limes. And I thought
Lyme disease. Lyme.
At the beginning of doing this work, this computer was goofy. No.
Lyme disease is real.
If you go to CDC, Center of Disease Control, they'll admit in writing it is an epidemic. Still don't really hear about it. It's a horrible disease, man. And
yeah. Well, they manufactured that as well.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, there's forces at play that aren't our buddies. That's for darn sure.
But it sounds like the scan recognizes them, and then they can be treated with frequency. Yes. Success varies, of course, I'm sure, but
well, absolutely. So also too, this isn't always the be all end all.
Yeah.
But I want to share this with folks to do everything right for them. So say Lymes. There's frequencies for it. We definitely want to do that. Another thing is if it's the beginning, it may be later. definitely see a pro, somebody who knows what they're doing. The antibiotics to kill those things, but the thing is, they hatch, so they can come back like fleas,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in your brain. It's pretty gross.
Mm-hmm.
High heat seems to kill them. If you
Hmm.
can get yourself into, not necessarily sauna, but if you can find yourself an old-fashioned ozone therapist who knows what they're doing, you get the temperature up to 109, they say,
Hmm.
that can kill them. So you want to do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Really serious
Interesting.
malady, and needs to be treated from different fronts.
Yes. I've known many people who've had it. Uh, okay, so and help is on the way is a project that you're working on now. That's not something that's available to people yet. Is that right?
I wish. No, it started off as a movie. We're thinking more now a streaming TV series. We'll see. But
Mm-hmm.
it's really cute. It's designed to introduce or reinforce to the general public that's not aware of all these different modalities and people, uh, in true and yet entertaining, touching stories. We've even got a gal who has a therapy horse, who they actually, it's a pony, really. They allow, because it's not huge, they allow at Carrington to go into the hospital sometimes.
Hmm.
It's hilarious.
Oh, a pony.
That's being
Yes, I've
funny.
seen that. I've seen they bring, there's a horse that visits nursing homes and animals are amazing. So
Yeah,
this is a streaming television project that is not yet available, but
yeah. It's about the funding, frankly. I have
okay.
the team
So is
ready.
it something that would obviously be announced on your website, which I'm putting down below for people to be able to find you,
Sure.
would be on the website once it's in action, right? Or once it's
We probably
available.
had funding just before COVID, and uh, there was two folks, and I don't know what happened to them. That's horrible. Hopefully they're okay, but I mean, we didn't
Yeah,
hear
you
from them.
never know.
So bummer from zillions of reasons, but that kind of bummed us out. But we're back, so hopefully things start to zoom.
Zoom, zoom. Indeed. Okay, well, so people can reach you on your website, which is
Pretty easy. Planetbioscan.com.
planetbioscan.com. This will all be in the show notes as well as displayed on the video.
Yeah, yeah.
And people can also reach you at what, your email address, or is it best to go to the website?
Billagogo, because I'm Bill and I'm going to go. Billagogo at still on AOL.com.
Okay. All right. Well, really fascinating to hear about this and to have actually received a scan. I'm just in the process of analyzing that information myself. There's a lot to think about and a lot to look at, and I certainly recommend this to anyone who's interested in taking it on. It's a challenge of a sort, but there's a lot to it, and it is the edge. This is where we're going. So if you want to get with a program, this is one way to do it. Bill, thank you so much.
Thanks for your stewardship and your service, and keep singing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Electric Prayers. Look how much we can help each other in such magical ways. Thank you so much for being with us today on Starseeds of Freedom. Please feel free to come back anytime, and do hit the like button. Pass it on, share this, subscribe. We love to have your subscriptions. We love to hear your comments. You're welcome to donate. There's a donate button. But just having you here with us is awesome.